Welcome to Fuller Expectations, the podcast where we dive into topics like aging with confidence, navigating identity shifts, building new healthy habits, rediscovering purpose, health and wellness routines in midlife, and yes, maybe even money, retirement, relationships, and letting go of things that no longer serve you. I'm your host, Carrie Fuller, and I am so excited that you're here with me today. My hope is that our episodes feel like a blend of personal growth, real conversation, and gentle encouragement. We'll keep things honest, thoughtful, and practical. If you have not already, please hit follow so that our podcast can appear in your podcast library. We drop episodes every week, and we don't want you to miss it. And if you thought of somebody who might benefit by what you've heard today, please share this episode with them. And now let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to Fuller Expectations, where we're talking about living fully, growing intentionally, and becoming the best versions of ourselves in the second half of life. Today's episode is really special for me because it's not just about a topic that I really do care about. It's also about a person who has been a part of my life for almost as long as I can remember, since we were waitressing, going to college, and we actually lived together. It was the first person that I lived with when I moved out of my parents' house. So I am being joined by my lifelong friend, Julie. And when I say lifelong, I truly mean it, because we have walked through so many seasons of life together, from growing up literally as teenagers, going to college, building careers, and raising families, raising kids. We have had a front row seat to each other's lives through it all, and we've learned from each other and supported each other and really grown together. And one of the things that always stood out to me about Julie, and something that has genuinely inspired me, is the way that her family embraces traditions. Because today we're talking about something that might seem simple on the surface, but it carries such incredible depth and impact. And that is family traditions and creating hobbies that kids then carry on. It's all about legacy, right? So it's the small things, the repeated moments, the rituals that over time become the memories that our kids and grandkids will carry with them for a lifetime. And I've seen firsthand how this is very powerful, how traditions don't just create memories, they truly instill values and they create connection. They reinforce what matters most, and that is family and friendship and the feeling of belonging. And Julie's family does this so beautifully. So in this conversation, we're going to dive into why traditions matter and hobbies matter and how they shape our children and how they become a part of the legacy that we leave behind. Whether you grew up with strong traditions or you're looking to create new ones for your friend groups and family, I think this episode will really resonate with you. So as you're listening today, I hope that you think about your own life and think about the importance of connection and how really at the end of the day, it can be something so small, but if you just have consistency with it, the impact that it has on friendships and on children and on family is so important. So let's get into this together. This is a conversation from the heart with someone who has been a part of my life for so long. And I am so excited to welcome Julie to Fuller Expectations today. Let's dive into it. Welcome, Julie. Welcome to Fuller Expectations. I'm so excited to have you. It's your second time with us.
I know, I'm a repeat.
You're,
Thanks
you're
for
an
having me
experienced
back.
professional. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so excited to talk to you about this episode about traditions and how really traditions are more than just activities. And they really are, in so many ways, the glue that connects generations and gives families a sense of continuity. And I think your family is like the first family I thought of when I was thinking about doing an episode like this, because you guys do so many cool things, even like you and your siblings and you and your kids. And it's been so cool to watch that over the years. So I thought you were a perfect person to talk to me about this.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's start with why traditions matter. And so they do play a huge role in families, but can you talk a little bit about the role that traditions played in your own family when you were growing up?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, that's where I think I got my drive to have traditions with my own family. And it's literally from the way I grew up because my mom, it was always a big thing with her to have traditions with us. I was one of five. So, yeah. So, we always did like things year after year that were like, the same from prior year. It was a huge thing for my mom. So it was important for her. And it was a seed planted in me that I've just continued. Some of the traditions are things she started that we still do, even though she's gone. And then there's things that I've started with my own family and my own kids and things we've changed. Sometimes things come to an end, and that's okay too.
Yeah. What are some of the earliest things you remember?
So one of the first traditions that I can remember was every year my family went to the Eastern States Exposition, which is a big fair in the Northeast. And we would go on the first day of that fair every single year as a family. So it used to be a Wednesday was the starting day, and we would skip school. My mom would like let us stay home, so that made it super special. And it kind of started from my mom and dad's perspective because my dad's mom, so my grandmother, was a crafter, and she used to like make all different kinds of things to sell. And there was a building there, it's actually still on site of the fairgrounds, called the Grange building, and my grandmother was one of the vendors in the basement of the Grange that would set up every year for the duration of the fair and sell her craft items. And we would go in that first day, and we were so proud because our grandmother was there set up and selling. And she was so proud that we were there. She's like, these are my grandkids, to all her, little fellow crafters. So that's kind of how it started. And that's literally when I think back to my childhood, is one of the traditions that I look back on with such fondness. It was so fun being able to skip school. That was so fun because it was like
Yeah.
the beginning of the school year too. So that was great. And that's kind of the one that pops into my head the most frequently from when I was growing up.
Yeah, and you guys still do that today. I
We
remember
do.
going a couple times on the same opening day, but I never really realized where that came from, that it was the
Yeah.
connection with your grandmother and stuff. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, we'd still do it as a family today. When my kids were younger, they would come. And now, they've kind of got their own thing going on. So whether they come each year depends on the year and what's going on. But most of us try. There's years I've missed because of different reasons, but a good group of us still get together the first day of the biggie and enjoy the day.
Your mom would love that you still
I
do it.
know, I know. I think she's
That's
like
so
up
cool.
there smiling down.
Yeah. So, can you talk a little bit about why you believe that it's important for children to have traditions that you kind of instill in them?
I think personally, just having grown up with traditions, it grounds children. It gives them a sense of security as well, and then a sense of family. So I think traditions, they're fun. So like we look forward to them or we laugh about them throughout the year, but it does help solidify that family connection, which is one thing that I really love about them.
That's so true. And what are some of the traditions that you created or even carried on outside of going to the Eastern States Exposition on the first day of every year? What are some of the
Yeah.
other things that you created or started new or continued?
Yeah. So when my kids were younger, I started baking cookies at Christmas with them. We'd always make spritz cookies, the little green like trees. We used that specific mold or, yeah, with the spritz gun or whatever. So we always made green spritz cookies. And then at some point in their childhood, it started with one of my brothers. We invited him over to join us for Christmas cookie making. And then a year or two into that, my sister got invited. And like it's just slowly grown. So now every year, right before Christmas, there's usually a Saturday. Sometimes it's been a Sunday just because of schedules, but there's a Saturday we will literally gather around noonish and we just bake in my kitchen. Everybody brings a list of different cookies they want to make. Sometimes we get to all of the things on our list. Sometimes we don't. We run out of time. We run out of steam. Sometimes we have a little more wine than we planned while we were cooking. But if nothing else, we have such a fun day. It's a day that we're all together. We end up with tons of cookies after, which we just enjoy sharing with neighbors and friends. And it's just an opportunity for us to be together and do something that just fills the soul. So that's something that it started, like I said, with just my own kids and the green spritz cookies, but it morphed into Christmas cookie day. And to this day, we still do it. I have one kid that's, 4 or 5 states away for college, and we try to plan it so he can come home because even though he's almost 21, he still wants to be here. And they bring girlfriends now. And yeah, it's grown. And we have friends that come in and out that don't cook, but they stop in to say hi, have a glass of wine, have an appetizer, because we usually have a little spread out as well for, appy kind of food. So it's just become a fun day that it's honestly one of the days that I looked forward to the most because I get to just spend it with people I love.
That's
Mhm.
awesome, and clearly your kids look forward to it
Yep.
every year,
Yeah.
especially scheduling it around when they'll be there, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally my older son and his girlfriend went to Vermont within the last month, and they went to this one little shop that's up in the town that they were staying in that had tons of cookie cutters, and they bought a cookie cutter for this coming Christmas cookie making. So that's not till December, but they have in their head a plan of what they're going to make. So I love that they both love it. She's joined in on the plan with us too, and they're thinking ahead, and I love that.
What do you think that it is about it that makes it really stick and it's important to them?
Yeah, I think it's just come as you are, make what you want. My older son struggled with that a little bit in the last year or two, I think dating the girl he's dating because she didn't know, she was new joining in on the fun. She didn't want to make the same kind of cookie that someone else was making. And I don't know why, Carrie, we don't usually cross reference each other's Christmas cookie list, but we rarely have the same type of cookie we're making. So it was kind of funny. He really wanted the last year or two to pin down, like, what are people making, or should we make snickerdoodles, or something random. And I was like, if that's what you guys want to do, just make it. So I think that it's a kind of a come as you are, like there's no real rules with it. So I think that's probably somewhat appealing to the kids. And I think it's just people are, like I said, coming in and out. So you see people, like, could be family, could be friends that we haven't seen. It's just casual and relaxed, and we have a lot of laughs. So I think that's why they enjoy it. I mean, I never really fully asked them that, but I love that they love it.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be very cool if it's something they continue to do too
I
with their
know.
own families. And it sounds like, especially with your oldest, that he definitely might.
Yeah, I hope so. My younger son, well, he's 18, so he's not young, but he brought his girlfriend this year. They maybe made one or two types of cookies, but they were right in hanging out with everybody, even if they weren't baking. And yeah, it's just nice to, I always hope that we're the house that they'll still want to come to and keep bringing
Yeah,
their girlfriends, and hopefully it's things like that, like Christmas cookie day, like I said, come as you are, and I hope that'll keep them coming back.
I think
Yeah.
it's very cool to do things that bring family together, and even especially when the kids are getting older. I started doing a taco night, and I originally
Mm.
wanted it to be Taco Tuesday, but it wasn't good for everybody to come on Tuesday, so it's
Okay.
Taco Thursday.
Okay.
And I don't always make tacos because it is every other week, but eventually, even if it's only every other week, we kind of got sick of tacos every time.
Tacos.
So we
Yeah.
did like a mac and cheese bar one night, and
Oh,
we
fun.
did the tacos, and then we'll do different things, but it's just getting them all together on a
Yeah.
Thursday because I feel like life gets crazy, and especially when the kids
Mhm.
are either college or just out of college and working. I don't want to be the family that only sees each other on holidays,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
totally agree with that. And you know what? It's a huge compliment if they're coming to your taco night because that means they want to. They want, listen, if they're like my kids, they want free food too. So that is always a driver, but but they also like to hang out with you, and that's a huge compliment. So, and I totally agree with you. Like I think that'll get harder and harder potentially as time goes on when they have their own families and life gets busier. So, I don't know. Hopefully something we're doing will plant some seeds that'll bring us into the future in great positive ways.
I know. Are
Yeah.
there some other favorite traditions that your kids look forward to?
So, yeah, a couple of years ago, my sister used to do Christmas Eve at her house, and then we would do Christmas Day. And like, just, I think there was a year that my sister kind of just decided that it was too much. Like, it was taking away from her enjoying the holiday with her family. So she stopped doing Christmas Eve, which was totally fine. But we decided at that point, as a family of four, to start our own tradition on Christmas Eve. So we started buying matching pajamas and watching Elf, the Christmas movie Elf that we just all love and just find funny, and ordering Chinese food. And it's so simple. And I know a lot of people have different Christmas Eve traditions, much more formal probably than that. But as my kids have gotten older, it's been a really nice newer tradition. I think we're probably on year, if I had to guess, maybe year 5 with it. And there's some years we've deviated a little bit. We've actually gone out and met our family at Hibachi, but then ended up coming back, putting on our matching jammies and watching our movie. There's been years we've played a game and, tried that instead. But just it became more about the four of us being together because the holidays become so hectic and we do great things with our family. We do the cookie making day, like I mentioned, Christmas Day. We have family coming in and out. We have Christmas dinner at our home. But Christmas Eve has become a time for just the four of us to quiet the noise around us and just enjoy each other. And I've loved that actually.
I think that's important. And I feel like through the years, there's so much change in families. And even, my family too, we've experienced transition with our grandparents passing away and how we used to go to my grandmother's on Christmas Eve all the time. And it was so much fun to think about the impact of traditions on families. Because I now, even in my mid 50s, I will never forget those Christmas Eves at my grandmother's house where we would see
Mm,
like 35 people from the family that you literally don't get to see
yeah.
ever. And
Yeah.
to do that is so important, I feel like. And I think starting something like that for people, like if you don't do it, you might want to think about starting it. And even if it's small, like your boys will just remember that.
It's
Yeah.
true. You just like totally triggered something in my head about Christmas night for my family at my grandmother's house. So, what was so fun about being like you just described your family together that you maybe see once, twice a year, it depends, but we're so much more connected now as a society. So, I feel like I don't necessarily see some of my extended family, like aunts and cousins, in person anymore, but I feel like I see them because of social media and other ways. So, but you just like made me think about what that was like back when we were growing up when there wasn't the connectivity with social media and we didn't have that. So being together as a family was even more, it's almost more special because you
Mhm.
truly didn't know what was going on in their life. It truly was a time to catch up. It's like
And
a
there's
different
funny
world.
things too that you think of, like family jokes that come out of it. Because my grandmother used to make her own Irish cream, and there was a big joke about the Irish cream because it was like, do you drink it? Do you not drink it? Did she refrigerate it? Because you put like raw eggs in it and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
We were
right.
always like afraid of getting sick drinking
Sick.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like funny. It was just funny. And now there's like this joke about homemade Irish cream in my family just because of my grandmother.
Has anybody continued to make it?
My mother made it, but I should pick that up and start making it because it was like a joke and it was just something that and another kind of joke is the amount of food that she would make and like how, she had one stove, one single oven. She didn't have the double oven. And I just remember her kitchen with platters and stuff of food and then one thing would go in the oven and one thing would come out of the oven and it was constantly just how she did it all. It was very cool to watch. Just a lot of jokes came out of that with
Wouldn't
our
it be so
family.
fun? Yeah, like it would be so fun to be able to go back and just relive one of those nights, like for a couple hours. You know what I mean? Like we didn't know
I
how good we
know.
had it to be able to
Yeah.
gather like that in a warm kitchen with homemade meals and dishes. And oh, it was,
Yeah.
yeah, we were so
And people
fortunate.
that you just never get to see, and everybody's like excited to see everybody else. And yeah,
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't even remember the last one. And it's funny because you think about that, how you never know when it's going to be the last one. Like
yeah,
even the last one of anything. Like I just was thinking about this past Christmas because I didn't realize the Christmas prior to that was going to be the last one with my mom. Like you never know
right.
when the last one is going to be, especially at our age when family and stuff, it just if we're lucky enough to have our parents.
Yeah.
Not everybody is, and I understand that, but it's like cherish the moments, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. And also, I think to take that even a step further is there's a lot of families that don't love each other, like, or like each other. So like we're talking about some traditions with our own families and children and stuff that, we truly enjoy spending the time together, but we're fortunate for that because a lot of people don't have that. And I'm reminded of that because people around me will tell me that, oh, you're so lucky you have that, or you're able to do that. And I've never known any different, but there's a lot of people that just choose not to be with the people that are related to them for different reasons. So
Yeah, that's so true.
yeah.
And even
Mhm.
traditions with friends. Like I know a lot of people do like Friendsgiving and do other kinds of
Mhm.
annual and even semi-annual traditions with friends. And that's friends are the family that we pick. So
Yes. Yep.
those are important too. I know we have lots of good traditions. We're
Yep.
lucky.
Yeah,
And if you have
absolutely.
traditions with friends, you're lucky to have that too.
Uh-huh. Totally.
What traditions do you think that your kids love the most and will carry on? Definitely the cookies.
I think the cookies for sure. Like I wonder about the first year we did the Christmas Eve with the pajamas. They were on board, and now I think they're, to some degree, they pacify me with the pajama piece. I mean, whatever. It's cute, but like most of the time they're Christmas printed pajamas, so you never see them again, and I see them in the next bin for like the Salvation Army. I think they're doing it for me more, but the Christmas cookie thing I think for sure is something that they'll do, even if it's not with our combined family, because I don't know where they're going to settle when they end up establishing their own lives, but I hope they continue to do it with their own family. And I think they will. I do
Yeah.
think they will.
That's a good segue because my next question for you really kind of ties in. What are the ways that you think that traditions help in tough times? And I know there's years where people experience change in their families and loss, or maybe there's transition. And even with you, with a son going away to college and stuff like that,
Mhm.
how do you think? I mean, it is more important now more than ever to carry things on when there's change. And the traditions probably help. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's harder and harder as a society to keep things alive like traditions because people are pulled in so many different directions back to that connectivity thing that we were talking about at one point here. And the world is just seems so much bigger, even though I don't think it's any bigger. It's just we have a window into everything, it feels like. So I think it just emphasizes the importance of staying connected and doing things like traditions, even if they're really little traditions. It could be decorating the Christmas tree together. It could be New Year's Day, you have a certain kind of meal. And I think there's such an importance in establishing some kind of connection with the people around you. Like you said, whether it's friends, whether it's family, it's important more than ever so that people are connected to other people.
Yeah. And I think for families who might not have strong traditions, they can
Mm-hmm.
start anytime. I feel like even
Hmm.
with me, like when I started the Taco Thursday with the kids, that was just a few months ago. And it was like me realizing that I want them over on a somewhat regular basis. So every other
Hmm.
Thursday, I'm cooking dinner and, starting even with something like that to
Hmm.
get people together. And I think for me, it's also realizing I don't want to see people only at weddings and funerals and
Yeah.
other times when they feel like they have to get together. So, people who are listening who might not have strong traditions, do you have any ideas of where they could start?
I think starting small is always the easiest path, right? So it could be something small like a taco Thursday, or it's just something simple. It doesn't have to be a whole day of baking cookies or a whole weekend of camping together if that's a tradition, or just start with something small and hopefully it blossoms into something that's enjoyable enough for everybody that participates that they want to keep doing it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't force that kind of stuff. It has to be organic, right? So, if it starts small and it's enjoyable, then there's I think, a greater likelihood that it'll continue, you
Yeah,
know?
and there's a lot of simple ways to do it. Getting together outside of holidays is really important. If you could do a vacation once a year that the family or even with friends that people look forward to. And for people who can't
Mhm.
afford to do that, I think some kind of a staycation where you're getting together doing something local. Even like the fair that you mentioned, there's a lot of fairs that happen, especially in the fall. Creating a tradition around picking a day to go to
Mhm.
something like that is a good idea.
My neighbors across the street, their kids are both grown and married. And ever since they've moved in, and it's probably been, I don't know, 8, 10 years at this point, they have family dinner every Tuesday night. And what I love about family dinner is they're a big Italian family. So there's always lots of cars because I think it's extended family as well. But then very often, many of us in the neighborhood are invited, because when you're Italian, I think your family extends, even beyond blood relatives. So, I mean, we've been over there for family dinner, or sometimes we go over there for family dessert. So we don't actually sit with them for dinner, but they move out to the fire pit afterwards and we'll wander down. So there's a lot of ways to create traditions, and it doesn't have to be one size fits all.
I love that.
Mm.
And what do you think your kids would say if they could describe the traditions that you've built? What do you think that they would say?
I can hear my older son. I mean, for him, and just referencing Christmas cookie day, and he has missed it in the last couple of years because of school obligations, but he was here so it's been hit or miss for him, I should say. There was one year, actually, my older son was in a suit and tie because he was headed out to go to a dance or a quinceañera or some kind of event. So he was Christmas cookie making, and then we have pictures of him with all of us with the cookies, and we were still continuing to bake, and he's in a suit. So it's just kind of funny. But I can hear him. It's an assumption that it's going to be happening, first of all. Like, he would never think that that Christmas cookie day wouldn't happen, but also that he would be part of it. It's always his hope, I think, to be part of it. So I can hear his little voice saying, "Of course I'm going to be there. Of course. Why wouldn't I be there?" Like,
I love that.
and my younger son is a little more, I think, with some of the traditions that we do, like, even something as simple as setting up the Christmas tree or going to get the Christmas tree, or, things like that. He's much more of an observer than a participant at times. And that's okay. I think you meet people where they are, where my older son is much more like hands on. My younger son likes to just be part of the mix, but doesn't necessarily have to have his hands in the mix, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
like, sometimes he's happy enough to just sit there while we're all cooking, or to be one of the cookie samplers, or, so it's just meeting people where they are and being okay with that too. Because I think when you asked earlier too about what makes people keep coming back, or makes them want to be involved in some of these kinds of traditions, is that it doesn't feel like obligatory, that it doesn't feel like it's an obligation to have to participate, or I'm going to be in trouble, or someone's going to be mad. It should never be like that. And if it is, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah. And really, it's all about connection and creating a sense of belonging and even passing down values that really live
Mhm.
on through the kids. And I think one of the good examples that I can think of, your husband and some of the hobbies that he has, while they don't fall under the sense of like traditions, but I think hobbies and the things that he does that the boys have picked up on. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I feel like, especially, there's something really cool in what your kids have carried on through some of those things.
Yeah. Are you thinking certain? My mind goes first to my husband is a gearhead, like, and he loves cars and old cars. And my younger son, especially, has followed in his footsteps and shares that same passion. And they literally together, they bought a 1981 Jeep CJ7 and they updated it and brought it back to life. And it's one of the cars that my 18-year-old currently drives, and I can't see him ever getting rid of that Jeep. He'll probably keep that Jeep forever. He literally brought it back to life with their shared passion. So that's one of the things that popped into my head. I don't know if you're thinking of something specific, but
Well, see, this is why you're so great for this episode, because there's so many different like tentacles that go off
mm,
of this. But yeah, so the cars, that's one thing, and then also the club that your other son started at college.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. So my husband loves cornhole, and it's kind of funny because we've been together a long time, but the cornhole thing started maybe 7 years ago, if I had to guess. I'm throwing it out. So I don't know how and where it came from, but he started to love playing cornhole, and he and his friend locally started a weekly cornhole a club, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to they call it. So it over the last couple of years, it morphed into different versions of what they originally started, but ultimately, like, where it's been the last couple of years is an invite only cornhole night, and it's Tuesday nights, and they cook a big dinner and they play cornhole, and it's competitive. Everybody buys in a nominal amount, but then there's a monetary prize at the end. But through the process of that, throughout the last few years, my older son in particular has just developed a love for cornhole, and he's really good, actually. He's probably as good, if not better, than my husband. He's just very precise about, like, lining the boards and what he needs to do. He's really good. So he loves it. He Every time he's home, he plays with my husband and his Tuesday night cornhole group. And then that same son at the school where he is started the school's first cornhole club. So, and it's carried on. So now he's a junior on that campus. And I've asked him recently what will happen to the cornhole club because he's the president. He started it. And what will happen to it when you graduate? And he's like, we have a whole board. And he's like, we have some younger underclassmen board members that will continue to carry it on when he graduates. And I love that because it's like, it's a very specific hobby, but it's when you go to college, you just try to find something that appeals to you, right? As a student. So they have a good crowd. It sounds like sometimes up to 40 kids. It's out on the green so that people sometimes they pick up people just walking by and they're like, hey, I want to play. But it's about helping get people involved in things and like feeling like they belong. And for him, for my son, he just loves cornhole. So like it's been a win-win for him as well because he gets to play cornhole at least once a week through the club, So yeah, that was, I kind of forgot about that when you brought this whole topic up. But yeah, that's definitely something that my husband, for whatever reason, cornhole appeals to my older son and not so much my younger son. But the car thing appeals to my younger son. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that there's the traditions, which is one thing, but then there's just certain hobbies that really
Mhm.
help. I feel like they do create values and things like that in kids, and just the fact that your oldest started this at school and now it's going to be something that the school is going to continue on after he's gone, which is like so
Yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
feel like that's so cool.
It definitely is because like we were just saying, like it's all about community, right? Or bringing people together and that will last after he leaves that campus, which I love.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. And if people listening want to take some steps to create not only just traditions with their kids and with friends and with other people who, for the simple reason of connecting with other people and
Mm,
having a sense of belonging and shared interests and things like that, I think that's so good for our well-being. And
agreed.
really, it helps just sort of shape people and connections. And really, with especially if it does involve our kids or families, it leaves legacies sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's funny because like I think of some traditions that sometimes they kind of fizzle out after time and that's okay too. It's okay to let things go if they've run their course, but maybe those are the opportunities where you have to start small again and start creating something different or something that might be appealing for where you are at this point in your life. Thinking outside the box, again, not forcing it because like again, if it's not fun, then people aren't going to want to join in and be part of it. So, yeah.
Yep. It can literally be anything.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah. Thank you, Jules. Thanks for joining us today. And I hope that people listening understand that whether it's a new tradition or strengthening one that they might already have with their family or their friends, that we inspire people to create moments that build connection with the people around us. So
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
our purpose. So
Yes.
thank
Yep.
you so much.
You're welcome.
This was great.
Thanks for listening today. If this episode sparked something in you, please share it with a friend, leave a comment or a review, and reach out and let me know what resonated. Remember, no matter what age or stage of life you're in, you can pivot. And always remember, the second half of life is not a winding down. It's a waking up. Please follow or subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our podcast family. Let's keep showing up and being the best version of ourselves. Until next time, take care.